Thank you, Adnan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I'm grateful to Management Association of Pakistan for inviting me here for this conversation on a very important and a painful topic, investment climate. And I should be very candid, but there is one disclaimer that whatever I'm saying as a apolitical person, as a technocrat, and there is no criticism on any government or any political party or any political leader, because I'm talking about the state of Pakistan. So as far as the investment climate is concerned, since last few months we are saying this, and in fact when I was a part of the government, I shared my views very candidly that Pakistan में इस वक्त business करना एक जिहाद है. So this is the investment climate. 2 days back we hosted a national policy dialogue on localization for growth, and this was the discussion in the dialogue also, because what we should as a state of Pakistan are 80% focus, minimum 80% focus should be on existing investors, as it includes local investors as well as the foreign investors. One foreign investor is a member of OICCI, 207 multinationals. Rest is the mid-size and small-size foreign investors from various countries. So there are very senior leaders. One of my mentors are here, sitting here. So I don't want to go into the details what happened exactly, because all of you are aware about the issues. But what is lacking, what should be the way forward, I want to focus on this. Instead of my sharing of my learnings in the end, I want to share my learnings in the beginning. That there is a serious issue of incompetence, all of you are aware. So incompetence is the key issue behind all this. Incompetence is the key issue, not corruption. And there is a serious debate these days that corruption is the issue or incompetence. I believe that incompetence is the issue. There is no tolerance on corruption. There is no, justification for any corruption. But where we are standing today is because of incompetence. Incompetence of our rulers in last 70 years. Not one government or two governments. This is a process. This is a collective responsibility of the stakeholders where we are standing today, number one. Number two is the lack of political will and lack of individuals' will because of the selfish interests and short-term gains and short-term goals. And third is the lack of collaboration. When you are part of any government, if you are a minister or you are heading any institution, you are acting like Aflatun. You know everything. So there is a lack of collaboration, again because of selfish interest and vested interest. Without a collaborative environment, without the engagement of bureaucracy, without the engagement of other stakeholders, you can't progress in Pakistan's system. So these three are the key findings I observed and I experienced during my short stay in the government, and I'm still working on the investment front with the Saudi and Uzbekistan government. The second important thing is lack of continuation of policies, lack of long-term strategy. There is always an ad hoc strategy. This is the real problem. We should study the other governments, not only the developing nations, but also small countries like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and many other countries in our own region. We should study their investment strategy, their economic roadmap. And there are a lot of learnings. We should study them. But every government is doing their own thing. So there is no lack of continuation. For example, Asif Juma is here. And he was part of the meetings when I was in the government. I attended many meetings. This was regarding the petrochemical policy. And Asif Bhai, this was supposed to be released in April mid. Today we are in mid of March. There is 15 March. There is no policy. This was around $3 to $3.2 billion investment. There were 5 players. One was ICI, who is now Lucky Core Industries, LCI, Angro, Getron, Tufal Chemical, and Lotte, which is Korean. But we did our best. This was about to finalize. After the departure of the government, the policies are still there. And this was a quick fix. This was a quick fix of 1.5 years to 2 years. But we are still on the same way. Second is the case of pharmaceuticals. Day before yesterday, there was an ad in all the major newspapers, an appeal to the Prime Minister from the Pharma Bureau and PPMA, the Pakistan Pharmaceutical Manufacturer Association. They are in real trouble. The Panadol price is cheapest in the world, but we are not ready to increase their price. We are not ready to allow them for opening the LCs. How we will survive? Investment is something different, but after 6 to 8 weeks, I think many of the important medicines will be out of stock. What we will do? So we started a focus approach on the raw material manufacturing in Pakistan. We approached China companies. Our embassy was very active. Ambassador Moinul Haq played a very important role. Me and Khalid Mansoor, both, he was the CPAC authority chairman. And our target was to finalize as soon as possible the technology transfer for pharmaceutical industry product. And this was a realization after COVID, because our 90% pharma products are coming from India and China. But after COVID, there was a global supply chain issue. But this is in the best interest of our pharmaceutical company to start manufacturing here with the help of Chinese and other investors. So again, there is no specific focus on this area as well. And today we are facing the problem. So this is my learning, that lack of continuation of policies, lack of long-term strategy, we are facing the problems. And as far as the existing investors are concerned, for example, the multinational companies, day before yesterday, the OICCI also sent a letter to the Prime Minister. All of you read in the newspaper yesterday. And check the content of the news letter. 1 year back, I arranged the OICCI Managing Committee meeting with the Prime Minister. This was a very productive meeting. This was regarding their survey of last 2 years. And all indicators were moving in the right direction. So because of interventions and lack of continuation of policies, we are again and again doing the same thing, and we are, not utilizing our actual potential. I think I worked very closely with the China government. During the Prime Minister's visit to China, we signed the framework agreement. First time in the history of Pakistan, China, we signed the framework agreement. And as per the Chinese system, they always worked under the framework agreement. This was the pure effort of the Board of Investment. I was a secretary from Pakistan, and the NDRC chairman, who is the counterpart of Planning Ministry of China, was the signatory from China. And we also started the China-Pakistan Investment and Business Forum with 20 members each from both sides as the founding members. What was the objective? Objective was to work on outreach and joint ventures, because I believe that around 7 to 8% Chinese investors visited Pakistan. China's economy is too huge, their population is too huge. So both embassies collaborated, both governments collaborated. Board of Investment was the focal point, because this was our initiative in the chair of Prime Minister. And we hosted this, initiated this forum in December 2021. And later on, because of the policies, the lack of facilities in the special economic zones, and also lack of focus on many other priority areas, CPAC is not very aggressive. With complete responsibility, I want to share that China government is not happy with us as far as the CPAC and other investments are concerned. And this is not in last 1 year only. This was earlier also. This is my learning. And this is a continuation actually on their part. They are our friends, But you know, the world change. We always believe that China is our iron brother. Our friendship is more sweeter than honey and more bigger than Himalayas. This is not the age of these talks actually. Business is all about give and take. Business is all about profits. So because of our policies, because of our incompetence, and I'm saying very loudly incompetence, and selfish interests, vested interests of our rulers in the last few decades, China is unhappy, and we failed to utilize the opportunities of investments from China. So, yes, Chinese are smart, and they are rightly smart. This is the age of competition. This is the age of smart working. But if we are wasting someone's time, if we are not providing facilities to their investor in the special economic zones, they will do the same, because other countries are doing excellent hand-holding and facilitation for them. One of the case studies, for example, Saudi Arab is interested for making an agri-zone here. And in my last meeting with the Saudi Investment Minister 2 months back, he said that our 2 more investors are again going to India and Kazakhstan for further investment in the agri, because there is a political instability in Pakistan. So with China, there is a need of focus approach. There is a need of a specific, focus approach and focus strategy and facilitation for them. For example, during the visit of Prime Minister, from Board of Investment, we propose a G2G SEZ from China. China government actually established 22 SEZs in 22 countries, and they are all G2G SEZs. Board of Investment is the secretariat of SEZs, but after the 18th Amendment, the provinces are responsible. They are hiring the developers. And with all due respect, with all the governments, the previous government, the current government, the provincial governments, SEZs are like now for land grabbers actually. This is a very lucrative business for all of them. There is a huge corruption in the SEZs. There are lack of facilities because of the land issue. If they need a 5-acre land, they always apply for 50-60-acre land for futuristic plan. And later, after commercialization, the land property is, the price is very different. So we are not providing good facilities. For example, Lucky Motors is started in Karachi. I exactly know that what happened. They did many work on their own, and same is the case of many other industries. So one thing I want to clarify, that when I was a part of the Board of Investment, my Prime Minister was very serious, and we started working on special economic zones, because when I joined, everyone was talking about the SEZs, and I requested Prime Minister to hold a weekly meeting, because we were doing a guillotine exercise meeting on a weekly basis, under which we executed 115 reforms for SMEs. And this was a process of 2 years actually. And Prime Minister's steps were commendable. So I requested the same for SEZs, because this was the priority area. So with China, there is a need of long-term strategy. Chinese can't work like we are working in the government. All of you are the corporate leaders. If you are in the government, you can, of course, perform better, and you can change the Pakistan. So what I observed, and this is my very apolitical thinking, and not only my very short stay in the Board of Investment, but in the last few years, there is a need of complete overhauling of our system. The current political system can't work. Mark my words. I'm a very small man, I'm a very ordinary man, but I'm telling you, after 10 years, you will do the same talk again. This political system with the existing political setup, this can't work. Unfortunately, as a nation, we accepted the average performance as a nation. This is the problem. Our opportunities are unlimited. What I believe, that in every sector of our economy, there is an opportunity of few billions of dollars. There is an opportunity of few $billion investment from 7 to 8 countries annually. Again, there is a need of focused approach with country to country, like we are doing in the corporates. If I am a banker, my special focus is Asif Jumma or Hussain Basrai or Talib Karim or like this. Unfortunately, the government, we are wasting the time. We are not ready to initiate the long-term strategy, which should be continued with the passage of time, and this will bring results actually. So this is another learning, and I believe that I mentioned about the KSA. I will further highlight about few studies from KSA, but I must mention about Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan I always mention because we hosted them last year, and I visited twice as the minister, managed one trilateral ministerial meeting, one investment forum, and now I'm working with the Uzbekistan government and two Pakistani business houses. We facilitated them, one started already, what they are doing and why there is a need of study of their. This is a very small country of 35 million individuals. But what they did in the last 5-6 years and where they are moving, this is something, a classic case study for all our businesses as well as for the government. They are doing the excellent facilitation with the investors, and everything is now seems like manufacturing in Uzbekistan, a small country. So our 26 business houses are moving to Uzbekistan. Few of them already established, few of them are working, few of them are looking for opportunities, some of them are in contact with me also. So what they are doing, their president, the deputy prime minister, their chief of staff, their ministers, they are doing a commendable work and work as a team, not in isolation. Work in a collaborative environment. And Saudi and China and all other countries are investing heavily in these countries. Same is the case of Kazakhstan. So there is a need of study, and there is a need of pick the model they adopted, how they did it in the last 4 or 5 years, how they did it in the last 8-10 years. So this is another learning from my side. Actually, when I joined the government, on the third day, Prime Minister called me and he assigned me the Saudi project. And he said this, first of all, in one-on-one meeting and later in the group meeting, that we visited twice and there were excellent meetings with the Saudi leadership and Saudi business houses. And he was upset because he said that there was no follow-up from our side. So this is our mistake. And my reply was that there is no claim from my side. But yes, there is one assurance that there will be no issue of follow-up. So within 6 months, we had 18 meetings, 18 meetings with the Saudi investment minister and his entire team. 2 meetings were in-person meetings, and 16 meetings we did online meetings, but detailed meetings with a complete agenda. So actually, Saudi is a classic case study. Everyone is talking about Riyadh, the changing phase of Riyadh. I wrote an article also in Business Recorder. You can Google and search and check the complete details, how they are changing. This was a oil country. Their focus was only oil. In last 6 years, everything changed. Everything changed. Now you can visit Riyadh and you will be amazed. You will be positively surprised what they are doing. Their public sector is more efficient in comparison with their private sector. First, the women empowerment in the last 6 years is commendable, an eye-opener. In Ministry of Industries, there was 1 or 2% women participation. Now this is 35%. Same is the case of Ministry of Energy. And these are the authentic numbers. So what they want with the Vision 2030, they want to be the powerhouse of every industry. This is their vision, and they are working. One key factor who is actually responsible for all this development is Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And wherever I met the Saudis and the non-Saudis resided in Riyadh and other kind of cities of the Saudi, they are praising MBS because of their policies. And there is an accountability system of all the ministries. There is no more special treatment with the royal families or the ruler families. There is a committee chaired by Mohammed bin Salman, and every 3 months there is a performance evaluation. Same time, the facilitation as well. So, the Public Investment Fund is the third largest fund in the world. The official size is $620 billion. The unofficial is $1.3 trillion. They are investing in every country in the world, in every big project. They are purchasing like anything. They are in a shopping mode actually. But unfortunately, this country, Pakistan, where they are interested to invest in 8 different sectors, we are begging for $1 or $2 or $3 billion. This is a big shame for Pakistan. This is a big shame for me and you and everyone in Pakistan. Trust me, in last 18 meetings, and after my departure from the government, I had several meetings with the investment minister and his many other colleagues. He arranged my one meeting with the Saudi finance minister, Mr. Al-Jadaan, and also the governor of PIF, Public Investment Fund, Mr. Yasser. And they are also upset that what is happening in Pakistan, not only the political front, but overall. So they are investing everywhere in the world. Only Pakistan is a very sad story, I must say, that we are begging for $2 or $3 billion. Same is the case of UAE, where our Prime Minister happily announced that they gave us $1 billion. And I requested them for $2 billion, and they gave us $2 billion. It is a shame on us. And I'm not criticizing the Prime Minister. Unfortunately, it is the act of every government. I'm talking about the state. The few billion-dollar opportunities from the private sector, the family business houses, and the government of UAE as well, where we worked very with focus. What I did actually for all this, Mr. Jubba, I picked 8 countries actually. And rest, I treated them as a walk-in customer with excellent facilitation. And I realized after a few weeks that if I will wait for a better system, 3 or 4 governments will be changed and the 15, 20 chairmen will be changed. I was the 4th chairman of my board of investment. And when I joined the board of investment, this was a dead horse. Within 3 years, when I joined, there was an announcement of new Federal Secretary for Finance. This was the 6th Federal Secretary. There were 5 or 6 FBR chairmen. I'm talking about taxation. I'm talking about investment. I'm talking about finance. Secretary of Finance is the most important person in Pakistan. 5 or 6 you change in 3 years. And same is the story of this government also. So now critically evaluate about the mindset, about the short-term approach, about the lack of competence, about the lack of homework. So these are the challenges. With Saudi Arabia, I must say, and I'm propagating these days through my articles, regular articles, and my talks, and in my direct interactions with the big houses, business houses, that explore opportunities in Saudi Arabia. Because what I advise to my Prime Minister, that G2G is really difficult. Sometimes G2B is important. B2B is important. We should create an enabling environment. And everyone is going to Saudi Arabia these days, from all over the world. Their Future Investment Initiative, I attended 3 times. This is the 3rd biggest forum in the world. Every investor from the world is attending every year in October. So 2 business houses I facilitated in Riyadh, arranged their meetings. I must say that our business houses should explore Riyadh, the opportunities in Riyadh for the JVs. They asked us to engage a few pharmaceutical companies. No one is ready to collaborate with the pharmaceutical. There is a lack of vision from our business leaders also. Or sometimes there are boundings. We can't, transfer dollars from here. How can our pharmaceutical company can establish anything in Riyadh or any other country? So this is one thing. Few IT players are now aggressive. Systems is one example. System is doing amazing work in Pakistan. They have 6,000 or 7,000 employees. They are targeting 20,000 employees in the next 5 years under the current scenario. So they are the first one who establish a real platform in Riyadh, and they are focusing in Riyadh. SAP Saqib is here. He also engaged system with their counterparts in Riyadh. So there is a need of exploring Riyadh under this current environment. Investment is like a water. If water is crossing, you should grab the maximum. Otherwise, water can't wait for you. So today is an environment that we should grab some business from Saudi Arabia, from a state level, and from also the business to business. Otherwise, after 5 or 6 years, this will be a complete different story. And what the investment minister said to me in the last meeting, he said, "The brother, you have 3 to 4 years, and you are becoming irrelevant for the rest of the world. Maybe 2 years or 3 years, not 4 years. So this is up to us as a nation, as a state, that we should rethink about our priorities. Every day there is a tamasha on the roads. From 6 to 12, if you are watching the television, I stopped watching television 3 years back, by the way. Because at 12 in the night, this seems like that there will be no Pakistan in the morning. The Pakistan is again shining and all. So lack of priorities, lack of visionary leadership, lack of competence, these are the key ingredients, key pain points behind where we are actually. This is not the responsibility of any one political party or any government. This is a collective responsibility and collective failure. Actually, I focused on 8 countries. I only mentioned something about 3 countries because I can go hours and hours. What I did actually, I engaged the private sector with me. For whole Middle East, I engaged 4 top investment bankers. One was from SoftBank. He is the managing partner of SoftBank Middle East. One was from Ashmore. One was a lady, worked with Saudis and all. And one was my friend, investment banker again, and private equity person from Kuwait. And what I advised to my team that this is not my and your work. Engage the best experts, the best Pakistanis who can guide us for day-to-day things. We signed the NDAs with them, and later on we were appointing one person each, the young girls and boys from the investment field, and this was through IFC because the government procedures are very tough. So I asked the Prime Minister that I need these individuals, and he said, yes, appoint. But with the Federal Public Service Commission, there is no rocket science. You can't engage anyone before 1 year. Tariq Ram Sahib is here. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. So one of my additional secretary, Mukarram Jansari, who is now heading customs, very efficient bureaucrat, he advised us that we have the funds from IFC, we should engage individuals from IFC. So we started the searching and we were appointing them from June 1st. So, there is a need of complete collaboration with the private sector. If I'm talking about the agri, you should engage the best individuals from Pakistan and abroad who are expert of agri. If I'm a federal secretary or I'm a federal minister, there's no guarantee that I'm, expert of everything. If I'm talking about fertilizer, or if I'm talking about any other industry, we should engage the best experts. So this, policy should be continued, and government should engage the private sector instead of making 25, 26 persons councils and committees. There are, I think, 100 committees, and there is a need of one minister to look after all these committees also, in addition to 85 ministers currently. And in our government also there were 71 ministers, I think, 71 ministers. So you engage the best persons. If you are talking about technology, you engage 3 or 4 important players, and you can start working instead of committee and committees and committees. So our formula for the China, our formula for the Middle East, including Qatar, UAE and Saudi Arabia, this has started working very well, because day, night we were in consultation with these 4 individuals, and we were consulting with the other players also. So whatever we designed, however we worked under the consultation of these individuals. Every government is focusing on these areas, but problem is, again, absence of long-term strategy. So this is my only answer. Otherwise, there are opportunities in every service sector. Technology is one area. This is the game changer. But our number is around $2.1 billion IT exports. This will be, the target is next 3 years, I think $5 billion. So, in addition to honesty, honest leadership, we really need competence. And we really need continuation of government. And this is not political and not because I was part of the last government. The departure of the last government was absolutely a real disaster for Pakistan. And this is, I'm halfi aapse keh raha hu, this is not my political statement. This is what I believe. The continuation is very important. The continuation of the last government till October 2023 was important. Trust me. And by the way, whatever I shared, but I must say, and I'm not marketing anyone, Imran Khan was the easiest boss for me. He listened to everything. Sometime I was double-minded that I asked something and he said, do it. I tried to explain him. He said, do it. You are responsible. And he was cooperative like anything. There was a problem with the system. So I engaged the bureaucracy. I engaged the military. I believe on the combination of military, bureaucracy and the political government. Because we should be realistic. We should avoid the political slogans and everything. Whatever political parties are bashing, please don't trust them. Make your own judgment. If I was working with China, I was working with Middle East countries, I was working with Netherlands, other countries. Military is an integral part of our system. We should accept. We will like it or not, but this is the reality. Engagement of bureaucracy is very important. And trust me, there was no problem from bureaucracy as far as my case is concerned. Many of them were my friends, but many of them were not my friends. I developed my friendships after serving in the government. So respect in your attitude is everything. What we are doing in the corporate sector, we are doing the same. So why not in the government sector? Why blaming bureaucrats all the time? Yes, there is a problem in the bureaucratic system. The Prime Minister and the Cabinet is responsible to change the system in the bureaucracy. Bureaucrat will never change the system. So reward them and make a proper organizational structure and follow all the ministries, bound all the ministries to work under one umbrella of, like we are doing in the corporate. So I believe that there are brilliant bureaucrats in every ministry, in every organization. And there are duffers also, full of duffers, bunch of duffers. But how long we will cry for the bureaucracy? Trust me, in 6 months, there was no one bureaucrat who actually gave me tough time because I engaged them. Respect and engage them, and this is the only thing. What we are doing all the time, we are criticizing the bureaucracy. In my board of investment team, I can mention 10 or 12 names who are the brilliant individuals. Mukarram, I already mentioned. Farina Mazhar was my secretary. You met her. Khashiur Rahman. Special economic zones, we are crying again and again. One of my DG was Abdul Sami. He is still there. I must say that he's a thought leader on special economic zone. I had meetings and meetings and meetings and meetings with him daily basis because SEZ was my critical pain point for industrialization. So if you can sit with him, you can realize that he is a thought leader. So why we are not implementing the recommendations? So this is the problem with the Prime Minister and the Cabinet because of the lack of long-term planning and continuation. So last 10 months में जो multinationals आपकी हैं, वो ICCI जो members हैं, वो यहाँ से पैसे नहीं भेज पा रहे. And this is a serious issue of our reputation in the global community as far as the multinationals are concerned. Number one. Number two, on a serious note, जो आपने बात की TV channels की, मैं TV देखता हूँ, but मैंने political talk shows देखने बंद कर दिए. तो मैं on a serious note आपको बताऊँ कि मैंने शिबली फराज साहब से बात की जब he was the information minister. तो मैंने कहा शिबली भाई इसको बंद करें किसी तरह से. But of course this was not in hand. तो फवाद आ गए, फवाद को मैंने कहा, फिर मैं DGI SPR को मैंने बोला, मैं कहा शायद ये करवा लें. تو میں یہ بلیو کرتا ہوں کہ یہ جو پولیٹیکل ٹاک شوز جس انداز میں اس ملک میں چلتے ہیں, دیکھیں اسپیچ کی آزادی ہونی چاہیے, ایکسپریشن کی آزادی ہونی چاہیے, اور بہت زیادہ ہے پاکستان میں, ضرورت سے زیادہ ہے. لیکن یہ 6 سے 12 جو تماشا اس ملک میں چلتا ہے نا, یقین کریں 6 مہینے بند کر کے دیکھیں اس کو آپ, یہ ملک نا پازیٹیو ڈائریکشن میں شروع ہو جائے گا. یہاں بہت اچھی سٹوریز ہیں, یہاں بہت کچھ ہوتا ہے. پورے قوم کا نا ایک مائنڈ سیٹ آپ پرائم ٹائم پہ اس پہ لگا دیتے ہیں. یہ پرائم ٹائم میں جتنا ٹی وی کمرشل ایک ٹاک شو کو ملتا ہے, جتنی ریٹنگز ان کی ہائی ہوتی ہیں, وہ کسی ملک میں نہیں ہوتی. یہ پرابلم ہماری ہے, پرائیورٹیز کا ہمارا مسئلہ ہے. اس ٹائم پہ انٹرٹینمنٹ پروگرامز آنے چاہیے, اچھے پروگرام آنے چاہیے, نہ کہ 6 سے 12 ایک تماشا چلے پھر اگلے پورا دن اسی پہ ہم ریپیٹ کریں. یہ سیریس نوٹ پہ بات ہوئی, بٹ آف کورس کوئی انفارمیشن منسٹر یا ایون ڈی جی آئی ایس پی آر اس پالیسی کو چینج نہیں کر سکتا. یہ پیمرا کو چاہیے کہ کچھ اس قسم کی چیزیں کرے, کیونکہ بلیم گیم چلتا ہے وہی 50-60. آپ کاؤنٹ کیجئے گا سارے چینلز ہیں نا, 80-90 چینلز ہیں. یہ ٹوٹل 50-60 لوگ ہیں جو ان چینلز پہ بیٹھے ہوئے نظر آتے ہیں. وہ ہر پارٹی انہیں کو نامینیٹ کر رہی ہوتی ہے. سیم ٹاک اگین اینڈ اگین, بلیم گیم اینڈ بلیم گیم, نو کنسٹرکٹیو تھنگ. تو نیشن بلڈنگ جو ہے نا وہ اس طرح نہیں ہوتی. میڈیا آج کے دور میں بہت امپورٹنٹ ہے, تو ہم کس طرح یوٹیلائز کر رہے ہیں. یہ سمینہ یہاں پہ بیٹھی ہیں, ون آف دا, میں ان کو بہت ہائیلی ریٹ کرتا ہوں بیکاز آف ورک ان ہر کیریئر. اینڈ دیر آر بلین انڈیویجول لائک ثاقب. پورے ایس اے پی ریجن میں ایس اے پی پاکستان کی ریٹنگ اس وقت ہائی ہے. ایسے ہمارے بہت سارے آصف پیر ہیں, بہت ساری کمپنیز کے لوگ ہیں. تو ہم کیوں ٹیکنالوجی میں پیچھے ہیں, ہم کیوں اتنا سلو پروگریس کر رہے ہیں, ایوریج پرفارمنس کے ہم عادی ہو گئے. دس از دا پرابلم. میں 2-3 باتیں آخری میں کرنا چاہوں گا, ٹائم شارٹ ہے. دیکھیں جو میں نے آپ سے بات کی نا پولیٹیکل سسٹم کی, یہ بڑی پینفل بات ہے. آئی بلیو آن ڈیموکریسی اینڈ آئی ول ایور بلیو آن ڈیموکریسی, بٹ یہ جو سسٹم اس وقت چل رہا ہے نا, یہ چل نہیں پائے گا. یہ میں آپ کو آج بتا دوں. میری بہت بیٹھک رہتی ہے ٹوئن سٹیز میں, اور میں آپ کو بتا رہا ہوں یہ نہیں چل پائے گا. ایک ایلیٹ کیپچر ہے اس ملک میں, اور وہ ایلیٹ کیپچر کی وجہ سے یہ سسٹم اس طرح چلتا ہے. تو ہمیں ایک بہت بگ ری تھنک کی ضرورت ہے ہر چیز کے لیے. میں صرف انویسٹمنٹ کی بات نہیں کر رہا, میں تو ملک کی بات کر رہا ہوں. ایک بہت بڑی, یہاں عمران احمد بیٹھے ہیں, یہ سی این این کو 68 کنٹریز میں ریپرزینٹ کرتے ہیں. ہر کنٹریز کے ساتھ یہ انویسٹمنٹ کی بات کر رہے ہوتے ہیں سی این این کی طرف سے, سوائے پاکستان کے. حالانکہ پاکستانی یہ کراچی میں بیسڈ ہیں, بیکاز کہ کوئی سٹوری نہیں ہے, کوئی کام ہی نہیں ہے, کوئی فوکس ہی نہیں ہے. پی ٹی وی ایک ماؤتھ پیس ہے ایک پولیٹیکل گورنمنٹ کا, جو بھی گورنمنٹ آتی ہے. تو ہمیں اپنی پرائرٹیز کو تبدیل کرنا ہوگا. ہمارا جو بگیسٹ مسئلہ ہے نا وہ کیا ہے, ہمارا بگیسٹ مسئلہ, جو بگیسٹ تھریٹ ہے, نہ تو وہ انڈیا ہے نہ اسرائیل ہے. میں بہت ریگولر یہ بات بولتا ہوں. ہمارا جو بگیسٹ تھریٹ ہے پاکستان کا, وہ 25 ملین کڈس آؤٹ آف اسکول ہیں. اگر آج آپ نے ان کو ووکیشنل ٹریننگ نہیں دی, ان کو آپ نے تعلیم نہیں دی, 10 سال میں یہ ایٹم بم سے زیادہ خطرناک ہو جائیں گے. Today's our population is 230 to 240 million. By 2047-48, this population will cross 400 million. And 65% population will be under 30 years of age. So where we are leading, where we are moving, I'm not here to, spoil the environment, but I'm sharing the reality as a concerned Pakistani. میں بھی بزنس کرتا ہوں, میں بھی ایک پاکستانی ہوں, اس شہر میں گھومتا ہوں, ٹیکس دیتا ہوں, جہاں روڈ کا انفراسٹرکچر ختم ہو گیا. Yesterday, we hosted an infrastructure summit with Infrazaman. I avoided to say few things because there were foreigners also. I avoided. But آپ انفراسٹرکچر تو اس شہر کا دیکھ رہے ہیں نا, پروجیکٹس تو آپ دور کی بات ہے. آپ کو وینس جیسی گلیاں دکھائی دیتی ہیں گٹر کے پانی سے, آپ کو پہاڑیاں دکھائی دیتی ہیں, گاربیج کے پورے پہاڑ لگے ہوئے. 30 ملین کی پاپولیشن ہے اس شہر کی, پیپرز پہ 16 ملین ہے. آپ جا کے اسلام آباد پنڈی میں کسی سے بات کر لیں, وہ کہتا ہے میں نے ہر ایک سے بات کی, ہر ایک سے بات کی. 4 اسٹار تک کے پاس میں گیا, کہتے ہیں 10-15 لاکھ اور ہوگی. میں کہا چلے میرے ساتھ, آپ چل کے دیکھیں. تو جس شہر میں آپ 12-13 ملین لوگ کاؤنٹ نہیں کر رہے, اس شہر کی کیا اسٹریٹجی بنائیں گے؟ اینڈ سیم از دا کیس آف دا ہول کنٹری. سو وی آر ان اے ریئل ٹریپ. This is the responsibility of civil society. This is the responsibility of business leadership. کہ ایک تو صحیح کو صحیح کہیں, غلط کو غلط کہیں, کسی ایک پولیٹیکل پارٹی کو خدا نہ مان لیں. جو اچھا کام کرے اس کو اچھا کہیں, جو برا کام کرے اس کو برا کہیں. سب سے پہلے اپنی اصلاح کریں. ہر پارٹی میں اچھے اور برے لوگ ہیں. شاہد خاقان عباسی نے ابھی 3 دن پہلے اسپیچ کی حبیب یونیورسٹی میں, وہ صرف نکال کے دیکھ لیں, یوٹیوب پہ موجود ہے. And coming from the ex-Prime Minister, this was really painful. This was really painful. But whatever he said This was the road map for Pakistan. So میں آپ کو صرف آخری میں یہ بات کرنا چاہتا ہوں کہ انویسٹمنٹ کی اپرچونیٹیز بہت ہیں, ہمارے مسئلے اتنے بڑے نہیں ہیں, سولوشنز آسان ہیں, یہ میری ایک لرننگ ہے اور بہت پریکٹیکل میں بات کر رہا ہوں آپ سے, وداؤٹ اینی ایموشنز, وداؤٹ اینی ایگزیجریشن. بہت آسان ہیں ہمارے ریزولوشنز. 6 مہینے کام کیا, آپ یقین کریں کہ 8 سیکٹرز میں سعودیز ور بیگنگ فار کریٹنگ اے ایگری زون ان پاکستان. ان کی ضرورت ہے جناب, وہ کہتے ہیں آپ کو فوڈ سیکورٹی پارٹنر بنانا ہے. 18 میٹنگ کے منٹس نکال لیں, آپ کو پتہ چل جائے گا وہ سعودیز کیا کہہ رہے تھے, کس کس سیکٹر کی بات ہو رہی تھی. ہم تیار ہی نہیں ہیں, ہم 2 بلین تو 3 بلین ڈالر مانگتے ہیں ان سے جا کے. ہمیں شرم آنی چاہیے ایز اے اسٹیٹ. I'm very harsh but I'm really in pain right now. میں جس وقت بات کر رہا ہوں آپ لوگوں سے, یہاں میرے سارے سینئرز بیٹھے ہیں, میرے دوست بیٹھے ہیں. بڑی ملک اس طرح نہیں چلے گا. ہمیں اپنی پرائرٹیز کو صحیح کرنا ہوگا. جہاں سے آپ کو بلینز آف ڈالر کے پیسے مل سکتے ہیں, انویسٹمنٹ آپ کے اپنے ڈگنیٹی کے ساتھ, وہاں سے آپ جو ہیں وہ لون مانگتے ہیں, قرض مانگتے ہیں اور خوش ہوتے ہیں, بجائے اس کے کہ چائنا کے ساتھ جا کے آپ G2G SEC کی بات کریں, آپ چائنا کے ساتھ جا کے ٹیکنالوجی ٹرانسفر کی بات کریں, یہ فارما والوں کا مسئلہ سالو کریں, باقی مسئلے سالو کریں. آپ جا کے وہ فرینڈلی لون مانگتے ہیں, 3 بلین ڈالر, 2 بلین ڈالر. I experience it in the government also. And this is with every government, not one government. پرائم منسٹر اچھا ہوتا ہے تو اس کے لوگ اچھے نہیں ہوتے بہت سارے. پرائم منسٹر کو بھی چاہیے جو ساتھ میں گدھے گھوڑے ان کی تمیز کرے, جو گھوڑے ہیں جو گدھے ان کی تمیز کرے, جو پرفارم کرتے ہیں ان کو رکھے, جو نہیں کرتے 1.5 سال بعد فارغ کرے ان کو. کیا آپ نے کسی کمپنی میں نان پرفارمرز کو رکھا آج تک؟ رکھیں گے آپ؟ افورڈ کریں گے 6 مہینے سے زیادہ. یہاں 5 سال 2 سال آپ افورڈ کرتے ہیں, انہی کو کنٹینیو کرتے ہیں. آپ کے بعد لے دے کے گنتی کچن فائنانس منسٹر نے 23 کروڑ کی پاپولیشن میں, وہی منسٹرز آتے ہیں. ابھی الیکٹیبلز ہوں گے, ابھی یہ دیکھیں الیکشن کب اناؤنس ہوتے نہیں ہوتے پتہ چلے گا, وقت بتائے گا کن حالات میں ہوتے ہیں. اور الیکٹیبلز جو ہے نا, الیکٹیبلز ہی انہی گورنمنٹس میں آپ کو نظر آئیں گے. وہ ہمارے دوست ہیں, میرے آپ کے سب کے دوست ہیں. بٹ پلیز آئی تھنک کہ ہمیں کنسٹرکٹیو سوچنا چاہیے. اس ملک کا بہت پوٹینشیل ہے. اور میں آخری بات کر رہا ہوں, صرف 6 مہینے میرے ساتھ ایک چیز ہوتی تھی اور میری ٹیم کے ساتھ بھی ہوتا تھا. یہ ہر دن کا میرا ایک روٹین تھا کہ پہلے غصہ آتا تھا, پھر افسوس ہوتا تھا, یا پہلے افسوس ہوتا پھر غصہ آتا تھا. لیکن جب رات کو سوتے تھے نا تو یقین جانیں, میں ذمہ داری سے کہہ رہا ہوں کہ میں آپٹمسٹک ہو کے سوتا تھا. کیونکہ ایک دو چیزیں ایسی آتی تھی کہ آپ کو غصہ آتا تھا, آپ کو افسوس ہوتا تھا. ایسے تماشے دیکھتے تھے کہ حیرت ہوتی کہ اس ملک میں ایسا بھی ہوتا ہے. تو بہت سی باتیں میں نہیں کر سکتا, نہیں کرنی چاہیے. لیکن دن بھر جو باقی چیزیں چلتی تھیں اس میں اتنا پوٹینشیل ہوتا تھا, اتنی چیزیں ہوتی تھی کہ آپ آپٹمسٹک ہو کے سوتے تھے, سکون کی نیند سوتے تھے. تو یہ ہے پاکستان کی اپرچونٹی. اٹس اپ ٹو اس. کوئی باہر سے کوئی مسیحا نہیں آئے گا.